Hey, Battle Bill, here with another video, getting some more Season 12 practice Go Battle League battles. These taking place in the Master League Premier Classic meta. In today's video, we're going to review 3 teams that you can try out in Master League Premier Classic meta in Go Battle League when it arrives. It should already be here by the time this video drops. It should be the first few hours of the new cycle of the Go Battle League metas, and we're going to try out 3 teams that you can hopefully have success with in this video. So I've got a collection of 6 battles. We'll talk about the teams as we go through them one by one, and the main reason why we're doing this is because this is literally the first time Master League Premier Classic has been back in the Go Battle League in literally months. So it's good to get a refresher on the meta. There's some new mons. There's been some mons that have been updated. So there's definitely going to be some slight adjustments to the meta, things that are going to perform well. Going to be some popular picks and mainstays that stuck around, but also some new mons that will allow you to potentially have some success and maybe a little bit of spice along the way. So I've got a collection, like I said, of 6 battles here, 2 battles with each of these 3 teams, and let's jump right into it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I was battling my Twitch chat, my Twitch viewers, so these are all practice battles, so be wary of that as we get into it. So against this first matchup, we are running a double steel comp. Dragonite was always a beast in the Master League Premier Classic meta, and now with getting access to Superpower with this most recent Season 12 Go Battle League move update, it's going to make it even more of a mainstay and essentially going to be a Pokemon that can almost core break any team comp that's going against. And the best team comp, the most meta BBML type team that you're going to want to run with Dragonite is going to be of the double steel variety with Excadrill as the safe swap and then Metagross as the closer. All very popular picks last time Master League Premier Classic was around. I highly recommend this team. I think this is going to be like the most popular team you're going to see around. And as you'll notice in this first match, I already lost lead. I was able to essentially flip switch, which was huge because Excadrill as a safe swap performs very well, only losing hard to mons that are either fighters or Waterfall Gyarados. But even then on the safe swap, if you're able to swap fast enough, Excadrill could definitely at least try to get you a shield advantage in that circumstance. Fighters are probably the main thing that would stop an Excadrill safe swap from doing well. But as again you'll notice in this situation, we're able to line up the Mamoswine, which is going to do double super effective ice damage onto our Metagross. We're at a shield disadvantage now, but we're able to farm up a bunch. And then another mon that I do not have access to personally, but a lot of my viewers were battling me with is Florges. This is, according to PvPoke, the #1 Master League Premier Classic mon. I truly believe that's Dragonite, but at the same time, this mon is going to do really well, and it beats Dragonite, so it does have that going for it. But at least Metagross, is still going to be a mainstay in the meta, and will do really well against Florges. Florges is a pure fairy type with access to moves like Vine Whip, Disarming Voice, Moonblast, and then a little bit of access to Psychic for some potential, I guess, debuff ability, but then again, Moonblast would also debuff in another sense. Getting to this next matchup, we have another bad lead with Dragonite in the lead, and then we safe swap into the Excadrill, and we get met with a Snorlax. Now, a little bit of a heads up in this situation. The opponent that I'm playing told me that he got a bit of a glitch and was not able to properly swap the game, forced his mon Snorlax out, and you'll notice why that's important as we get further into this matchup. But on the off chance that, my opponent does not have a fighter and uses Snorlax to safe swap against the form of Excadrill, you'll see how well Excadrill can perform even after losing shield advantage and essentially shielding a bait there. Over the overfarm a bunch, Excadrill with access to a fast move, a mud shot, and generating a bunch of energy with a good variety of charge moves between Drill Run and Rock Slide to hit the steals and to even do very well against, the main flyer, like I said, of this meta, Dragonite. But now Dragonite can hit back, of course, with a bit of superpower action. We are in the zero shield scenario here, and there is a Surf Etch that would have definitely walled our Excadrill a bit harder. We would have at least been able to pull shields. I don't know exactly how the scenario would have went down, depending on if they wanted to get greedy and overfarm a bit and things along those lines. But we're going to now come into Dragonite and line up our Dragonite with a Surf Etch and keep it away from the Florges, and then the Florges comes back in, and we're able to hard wall this. So I guess essentially the meta is going to form a bit of maybe like a triangle, maybe a square along the lines of Florges counters Dragonite. Dragonite doesn't really counter Metagross, but Metagross would counter Florges, and then I guess something along the lines of maybe whatever would counter Metagross, which in this case could be like, an Excadrill in that type of like a little force. And those are going to be some of the main top picks. Magnezone is going to be another mon that performs very well in this meta. The steals are going to do great, of course, because similar to Florges being all over the place. And if I'm mispronouncing the name, I apologize. Regardless, But then now Dragonite at least has access to superpower to do a little bit better against those steals, so we're not going to just see mainly steals everywhere. Getting to this next matchup, I tried out a different team comp here, as you can see. One consisting of 2 Mons that are going to have much better success than they technically would have had way back when Master League Premier Classic was around. Hydreigon with Community Day charge move of Brutal Swing, and then Sylveon, but with Quick Attack. Quick Attack is a normal type fast attack, but is a Powder Snow clone, and you'll see how fast we get to these Moonblasts. So we're not actually just running a Dragon with a Charmer here. Sylveon has some actual unique play, whereas, you want to use Togekiss, you can literally only use Togekiss as a Charmer. In this kind of meta, Sylveon on the other end can perform well from this perspective, where it can fast move down a Mon, do some good damage there, but also spam out charge moves, which, thanks to the Season 12 update, we get to see a little bit more from Fairy types, and not all Fairy types are just dealing oppressive fast move damage. So I also really like this team comp a lot. This one's, again, more of a move updated one, a little bit of a spice, because Hydreigon, I don't think it's going to be the biggest meta pick in some Master League Premier Classic battles, but at least has some potential and has some opportunities to do well. We have the Hydreigon throwing a Brutal Swing at the Excadrill. Excadrill's so glassy, so they had to respect the neutral move that came in, and then they swapped in their Dragonite to try and get a farm on our Hydreigon, maybe worried that our Hydreigon had a bunch of health and was going to get to another Brutal Swing before they were able to get off the move. They superpower us there, but knowing that they had the Excadrill in the back, we had to let it come through. You can see how hard that hits from Dragonite onto a Metagross, and we saved our shield for that drill run that came through. Getting to the Earthquake here, this will one-shot the Excadrill, and then taking it out, and then if is a Dragonite still alive? No, we already farmed it down. So GG's to our opponent there. Getting to the next matchup, we have Hydreigon on a Florges lead. So terrible lead, even though it's not a Charmer. Double super effective Fairy wins, because of course Hydreigon's going to have to be super aware of fairies with its dark dragon typing. We save swap into Sylveon, and I really liked how well Sylveon performed here with the spam ability being able to threaten the big move of a Moonblast, but then bait with the smaller charge move of a Psyshock, and I think it performs really well here up until a certain point. You'll notice as we continue to play out this matchup, we're letting a charge move come through, fully expecting this to be a Hydro Cannon. We decide to call this one specifically based on the fact that we don't want to get double baited and then potentially Sludge Wave, because I still think Sludge Wave is the way to go charge move wise on your Swampert, but we're able to double bait there. We're able to shield this Hydro Cannon that comes through. You see the Swampert's current health. We are going to get to a Moonblast here, and at this point you would hope, as a save swap for Sylveon, and you pull off the baits you need to pull, you land the big blast, and it doesn't take out, and we're not able to flip switch. It would have been huge if Sylveon could flip switch here, because then we land the Metagross on the Florges, and whatever the last Mon is, we probably just performed super well against, and it could have been GG's for this match. But now we have to figure out another win con. We come in with our Hydreigon, and the one cool thing about Hydreigon, at the very least, is it does have a move to hit its super weakness, or huge weakness, to opposing fairies. It has access to Flash Cannon. So we'll see how that plays out in just a moment. We obviously don't want to stay in. We tried to catch the Florges charge move onto our Metagross. That did not work. They come in with a Gyarados to match us, and the Gyarados is going to be another very popular pick in this Master League Premier Classic meta. They're able to waterfalls all the way down, and we don't mind that because Gyarados is not going to be able to throw any charge moves. I mean, they technically have access to Outrage, but you don't expect Gyarados to run it to threaten Hydreigon, and then we get all the way to the Flash Cannon and could potentially overcome. Boom, Flash Cannon is such a bad move that the floor just survives with just a speck of HP, and that ends up being GG's for this match. But considering the alignment and the circumstances and the fact that, we didn't flip lead or anything along those lines, flip switch, Hydreigon almost pulled that one out. I got to give it some props. Getting to this next matchup, we have the third team of the video, and this is, it doesn't seem like spice because Gyarados, Magnezone are like super meta picks, super mainstay picks in Master League Premier Classic, but the main focus of this team comp is Empoleon. Empoleon does really well, even though I think it's highly underrated in the Master League Premier Classic meta with its water and steel typing, only taking super effective damage from fighters. So we're running it on an ABB steel team where essentially we don't want to stay in the lead unless we had to, which we had to against Excadrill, to lure out a fighter with either the Magnezone or the Empoleon. Most likely the Magnezone, because Magnezone's really good at pulling shields. Our opponent, even after we dump the energy on their Machamp, decided to swap, so we match with Magnezone. But Empoleon, aside from facing fighters, resists a majority of the fast moves that you're gonna see the main meta stay mons of in Premier Classic meta running against it. So that's why I like it a lot. This is actually a mon recommended for one of my Twitch viewers That was not a piece of information that I'd known. Obviously, it's not going to resist counter, but you know what I mean. Aside from that, it's going to resist the Dragon Breaths, the Bullet Punches, not the Sparks from Magnezone, but for the most part, it'll have some really good resistances against fast moves, like the Florges with Fairy. Actually, that wouldn't even be resistance. That would technically be neutral, but again, still not a bad thing. Regardless, our entire team performed quite well here based on lead, and then Gyarados kind of popping off. We tried to catch a move from the Machamp here. Kind of worked because they didn't counter us down, but we would have gotten to a charge move, so even though we didn't catch, they had to throw something. Should have thrown a cross shot there. We're going for the Waterfall farm down. We're going to shield. Should be a cross shot. This is a purified Machamp, not Shadow, which is going to be huge. Well, kind of huge for us. If it was a Shadow, that Waterfall probably would have taken out, would have been GG's, but they instead get to another cross shot, which scares us, almost takes us out, but the Waterfall that snuck through ends up taking out the Machamp, and that is GG's for that match. Getting into the sixth and final battle of the video, we have a Gyarados on an opposing Empoleon lead. So, you know, when you run into other Gyaradoses, run into Gyaradoses with Empoleon, Empoleon, oh my god, will resist either fast moves, Waterfall, Dragon Breath, back to the point I'm trying to make, and then Garchomp will come in, most likely with Dragon Tail these days, and you'll resist those two. If it was running Mud Shot, you'd be taking super effective. Considering our circumstances, we know we're not going to be able to, we know we don't necessarily want to flip switch. We really just wanted to try and lure out a fighter, which they did not have. So we weren't going to commit a shields just to flip a switch situation that we didn't care too much about, especially with Magnezone in the back. We want to keep shields around for it because of how glassy it is. Honestly, though, sometimes you keep too many shields for a Magnezone, and then it'll die too fast with pressure. So you have to be careful trying to hoard shields for it in certain circumstances. Either way, the Gyarados comes in, we swap, and then we match our Magnezone with their Empoleon. Magnezone is essentially going to core break the remainder of their line. They have the Garchomp. They were essentially ABA weak to Empoleon. To Magnezone with their Empoleon lead, but Empoleon doesn't play a terrible matchup against Magnezone if you're able to call baits, which our opponent does not do here, because the Waterfall damage will chunk away at the Magnezone's health eventually, unless Mirror Shot lands and gets a debuff. They then go for a charge move here. We are still trying to be very careful because we know Magnezone is our win con, so we're trying to preserve energy and bait as much as possible, and also Spark to the extent where the Empoleon will be in a Mirror Shot range, which it is here before they can have another charge move and take out our Magnezone's remaining health. We don't remember where their Gyarados is at energy-wise, so we are going to throw a Mirror Shot bait again, which we really didn't need to do at that point. At that point, all we need to do is Wild Charge, get the shield, and we overfarm to try and build up to the Wild Charge to force their move. But because we were able to land so much Spark damage and get that Mirror Shot attack debuff, our Gyarados will be able to take out their Gyarados' remaining health to win this match. So that is a collection of battles here on the Battle Build channel, as always. Let me know what you thought of the team comps, if you're going to try any of them. I honestly recommend all three of them. The third one with the Empoleon Magnezone, I like it a lot, but it's going to take a lot of finesse to kind of play around with. The first two, though, I like a lot. One being, straight meta, and then the second one being updated Mon Spice. I think both of those teams can have a lot of success with this Master League Premier Classic updated I'm saying the word meta so much, but just the updated mons, new mons introduced to the meta, and just seeing how things are going to fall pieces wise in terms of what's going to be popular or not. So on that note, as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please do tell me your thoughts. Let me know what you're potentially going to be running in Master League Premier Classic, and I will also, try out some other teams, get you a couple videos on that. But I also will be doing some open Master League content, so I will have an array of battles here on the YouTube channel as always. So, as I already said, I will repeat myself. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Preach.